There we go. There we go. Boom, 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 boom.
It is the big show.
Man, you know black people still got their Christmas tree up.
I see you still over there. You know what I mean? We took ours down over the weekend. The landlord
Yeah.
helped. I shouldn't even say
Okay.
we. My wife took it down, and the landlord helped because I just sat back and was chilling. I just let them do it.
We
I just let
usually
them
wait
get it.
until after my birthday. Listening audience, my birthday was Sunday, and so usually we wait at least until after the 4th to take it down, and so it'll probably be down by this weekend and stuff. But yeah, it's just now we can just put up the black curtain for for what happened on Sunday night. But yeah, man. Sheesh.
Hey man, we are live on YouTube. We will be on all your podcast platforms when I drop the pod. And if you do have Spotify, you will get to see our sad, beautiful faces. Hey man, we in the cut right now. Garland's birthday was yesterday. My birthday is tomorrow. So we
Cap
sitting
season.
right in that cut right now where we had some time today to get it out the way. That way we ain't disturbed any family plans that may be thrust upon us on our birthdays. As a matter of fact, how was your birthday yesterday?
It was great. Went to church, and then after church went out and grabbed a bite to eat with my entire family. Yesterday was also my father's birthday. He turned 87. And so
that's what's up. Happy birthday.
As my late mother would say, she gave him the greatest gift that a woman could ever give a man on his birthday, the birth of a son. And so, we share January 4th together. And so dad and my sister, brother-in-law, nephew, my girls, my wife, my mother-in-law. And so, we had a nice we went to Costa's Inn out in Timonium.
Okay.
Yeah. It's nice.
That's the one that doesn't have the crabs, but it has everything else, right? It doesn't have the steamed crabs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have steamed crabs or not, but I know they had the off track. They had the OTB there, and so,
and that's the one that just opened. It's the newer of the two.
It just opened, and so people were in there betting on the horse races and everything, and
that's what's up.
So we spent a couple hours there just chilling, eating, and then came on home and got nervous and waited until 8:00 to get it rolling, and you know the rest.
Yeah, man. Listen, I as sad as I am for you that they lost on your birthday, I needed you to have that because see, January 6th has been taken over by the mob on my birthday, so I needed something bad to happen on your birthday. So when yours come around,
I can always remember this. I can always remember this.
Yeah,
on January the 4th. And on Derrick Henry's birthday as well.
Derrick Henry's birthday, yes.
And a bit of old history. Don Shula was also born.
I didn't know that about Shula.
And I think Lamar's birthday is this week as well. I don't think it's the 6th.
Lamar's a Capricorn.
Yeah, Lamar's a Capricorn. So it's funny how leaders are Capricorns. And so
did you see how big Derrick Henry's eyes got out? He was like, I know this nigga on my birthday.
Right. He like
on my birthday.
His eyes was like he looked into his soul like they trying to catch what Lamar was saying, but them Florida boys, you don't know if they cursing or not when they talk, so they couldn't really. His teeth weren't moving, his mouth wasn't moving, but they definitely was looking for some like God. I can't believe
Lamar was like, I know that Jit ain't Mr. Kick.
Yeah, yo, come Mr. Kick, come Mr. Kick.
Wild times, man.
Lamar said he was already mad at him. He went up on him and was like, he said, I was already mad at him because he kicked the ball. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Hey, man, I know I said it a couple weeks ago that the season was over, but it's really over now. The final chapter, the season's over. After an uneven season for the Ravens, it all came down to the final game of the NFL 2025 season versus the Steelers for the AFC North title and the final playoff spot in the AFC. In typical Ravens Steelers fashion, the game would come down to the final play. A 44-yard field goal attempt by rookie Ravens kicker Tyler Luke, which he missed wide right, wasn't even close, to give the Steelers a 26-24 victory, the AFC North title, and the final playoff spot in the AFC. And so the Steelers will host the Texans on Monday night in a home wild card game. And so just real quickly, the offense, Lamar returning from injury after missing the Packers game, threw for 238 and 3 touchdown passes, which gave the Ravens the lead over 50 yards. I think that's it's an NFL record that a person throws 2 go-ahead touchdowns and they still lose the game of over 50 yards. Derrick Henry, whose birthday was yesterday as well, we already mentioned, he rushed for 126 yards, and Zay Flowers had 138 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Probably the best offensive output in a minute. On defense, Aaron Rodgers went 31 for 47 for 294 and 1 touchdown. The majority of his passes went to Kenneth Gainwell, who had 8 receptions for 64 yards, but it was a critical fourth quarter drive in which the Ravens could not stop the Steelers' passing game, which culminated in a Calvin Austin TD reception for the deciding score. And so let's talk a little bit about the game. Now, for you, what were some of the critical plays that shaped the outcome of this game in your eyes?
So we're all gonna talk about the Tyler Luke miss, of course. That was the most obvious. But let's talk about some things that we saw in the first half that gave us a lot of life, that a lot of confidence that the Ravens could actually pull this off.
Yeah.
The very first play of the game, very first offensive play of the game, Derrick Henry just off the chart. I think it was a 50-yard run, but then it got called back because of the phantom. Even Mike Pereira, who is a Ravens hater, was like, that is not.
He was like, you have to be coming in the direction of the player to have a blindside block. He said they're running next to each other. There's no way he could blindside him from running next to him, beside him. That's a terrible call.
But in unlike Ravens fashion, especially in Pittsburgh, it didn't faze them. They took the yards back, but they still went down and scored.
And went for it on 4th down.
Yeah, so that whole series right there was good. I mean, the Keaton Mitchell drop really hurt us also. If you remember that, Keaton Mitchell was wide open coming down the sideline, and Keaton Mitchell clearly can't catch passes. That's another play, that one of those what if plays, because we went up 2 scores with the 10-7, but you really wanted to go up 14-14. But it didn't hurt us that Mike Tomlin, who I believe, and I said it to our group, John Harbaugh, in unlike fashion, outcoached Mike Tomlin in this game.
I saw you got a lot of pushback from that online.
Yeah. And I don't think they understood what I was saying. A lot of people going, well, the team was prepared and this and that. Yeah, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about on game day.
Yeah.
In that first half, Mike Tomlin called a tush push that was 3 yards out. Didn't get it even close. Even the 2 seconds left in the half, Mike Tomlin went for this pitch instead of the tush push again, and you go in or kick the field goal. You didn't have any timeouts or anything. It's 2 seconds left. John Harbaugh, and unbeknownst to us, I don't recall any head coaching awful decisions that he actually made yesterday. And
say that he did.
We will, in an instant, we'll jump on that. So that's a slim margin, but it really, if we'd have won the game, I guarantee you they would be looking at Tomlin to be fired for those 2 decisions alone in the first half, because that's almost 6 points off the board right there, man.
I agree with you. As a matter of fact, I think the defense gave us hope because they played so well in the first half. They had a couple 3-and-outs. They kept them out the end zone, only held them to a field goal, which was great. And so you kind of felt like, okay, defense has stepped up. Offense actually was kind of struggling, just like the season. Came out, got a nice drive, got a score, then struggled the rest of the half.
Mm-hmm.
Couple penalties. They had a good
The
one where
penalty.
Lamar had a scramble up the middle. It was right before the 2-minute warning, and it probably could have translated in some points, but it was called back for holding. I think Lindenbaum had a holding. They had a couple penalties that really killed drives, and so first half, people, and we're going to talk about this because this is my come on, yo. You had so many people just angry at Lamar, and because we want the old Lamar. We want the Lamar that runs around, makes 10 people miss, and then run up the field. That guy hasn't been playing football in 2 seasons. That
He
guy's
played
gone.
last season. He played a little. He
A
played
little,
last season,
bit,
but he
a
became
little bit.
he
And
broke
he
records as
unleashed
a
them the
pocket
first game.
passer last
Yeah.
season.
And he unleashed them in the first game of the season in that run against Buffalo where he had the crazy run. But for the most part, Lamar's been throwing from the pocket for about the last 2 seasons. Okay. And so the guy that we remember the first couple seasons, Greg Roman running around, that guy really don't exist anymore. And so, he's stiff. He can't run. Yeah, he's nicked up. He's injured. And so, no, the burst wasn't there. Some of the timing was off. And so, yeah, that first half, it was, I thought it was great because we ran a lot of plays. We kept them off the field, and defensively, we did well. And then we came out and started playing the second half.
And
And
our
that's when
old
it turned.
line, the old line actually played pretty well. I'm going to admit, did you see when Falele went down? I was literally like,
yeah, we was clapping.
no, he got to stay in the game.
No, I was kind of like, okay,
He gotta stay.
go and let him go out with his little back and whatnot. And,
I wanted him to stay.
and then
Now,
when Rosengarten went down, I was kind of like, they went through a lot and they still stayed in the game, but it was like they could not get out. I know for me, one of the things that I wrote down was in the second half performance, and well, let me go to then. This is a little bit happened in the first half as well, because we're touching on this. Inconsistent play of the offensive line, a lot of holding penalties, poor blocking. It was like for a stretch where Haywood and the defensive tackles, they were basically playing 5 men on the line, and we could not get any push. A lot of those run plays that were working in the first half, we could not get any traction on. Lamar was getting pressured a lot. And, this a typical, just like the Ravens season, we go through this stretch of they can't block nobody. They cannot block.
I didn't think they did real bad.
It was for a period about a couple series where Haywood was like, it seemed like Haywood
was dominant. He was dominant.
Haywood was dominant.
Yeah, he
in a
was
couple series. Now, J.J. Watt, he wasn't all that, the normal J.J. Watt destroy your team type of thing, although he did have an interception. Highsmith, he did a lot of work too. But there were a couple series that I felt in the second half really that kind of helped turn the game, the momentum at least. Haywood was just so destructive. They did not have an answer. They showed a play where he just basically pushed Voorhees right into the backfield. Collinsworth, and I know a lot of people give Collinsworth a lot of grief, but I thought
didn't
he
think
was good.
Collinsworth was that bad last night.
He was very good last night. And he was talking about how he has control of one gap, but he's shooting at another gap. So he's kind of playing, off the block and everything. And basically how he maintained this integrity and drove Voorhees right back into the backfield. And so I thought, the offense, they go through this period of where they can't block. They wasn't throwing the ball downfield. I thought the second half defensive performance, the lack of a pass rush, and Collinsworth said this. He said that if they lose this game, it will be because the lack of a pass rush. And I heard a little statistic. I know we're not supposed to do stats, Jay, but here's one. The Ravens, for the entire game, they only had a 12% pressure rate. They only pressured Rodgers 4 times in his 47 dropbacks. They got 2 sacks, but 12%, basically, you let a guy, they didn't have any receivers. Basically, they were throwing swing passes and slants. And they were not necessarily going over the Ravens' head. but they could not get off the field. You let this guy, I mean, he controlled the game. And I think, that really was a turning point. The fact that he could drive all the way down the field with no timeouts and get that winning score. And also the poor tackling as well.
Oh my
Roquan
goodness.
Smith
Tackling.
only had one solo tackle.
The
3
tackling
total
was
tackles for the game.
that tackling was horrendous last night. I mean, it looked like Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell were just literally running in the tunnel on their own. The tackling
Right.
was horrendous. Roquan was part of that. He missed a lot of tackles. They
Missed
were
him.
arm tackling. They were, how they try to run up and just shoulder you. It was just bad, man. The tackling. If we made half those tackles, we might just win the game because we keep them out of field goal or touchdown range.
Sure.
It was awful, man.
Certainly. I thought also it was obvious that the concussion to Kyle Hamilton that changed the game. That changed the
Yeah.
game in the last 5 minutes. I think it was around 5 minutes when he got injured. Might have been 6. That basically changed the game. They did not have a leader on defense, and it showed. They never recovered from that.
We
And
talked about that last week.
yeah,
When your two leaders, Roquan and Kyle, when they're not on the same page, how
right,
that happens. And then
right on that touchdown.
as soon as Kyle got out the game, it was all downhill for the defense there.
Yes, yeah,
But
they couldn't get it together. Go ahead.
And of course, Alohi went out on the same play. Then a
Right.
little later on, Wiggins went down. And they came back and they stuck it
Yeah.
out.
Then
I don't.
Louisier, he went down for a couple plays.
Louisier
I
went
mean,
down.
it got towards those last 5
Marlon
minutes.
didn't go
It got
down, but
rough.
he might as well have been down.
He
With
should have
some of
went down.
his tackling was awful. And the contrast is that in the first half they were batting down passes. They were just on their toes. They were jumping in front of receivers. They were jumping lanes. I mean, it was great. But then Superman showed up, and this I told you all in the in our little group chat that I was grossly mistaken about something with Lamar that I have to admit. If you remember last week when we talked about how well Huntley played in the game, I was just like, maybe they should simple down the offense and run the same offense they ran with Tyler Huntley. They did that, and they were stagnant the first 3.5 quarters. When Lamar became Lamar, the game was just a totally different game. I was grossly mistaken. You don't need to dumb down the offense for Lamar Jackson. You need to let this man go. You need to let him do what Lamar Jackson does. Because once he started making them, what do they call it? The off-scripted plays. The game. If DeAndre Hopkins runs under that lob like Lamar wanted him to do, that's another touchdown. That's another touchdown.
Well, then again,
Easy
he
touchdown.
leaking oil. He would at least got to the 20.
He would at least got.
He would at least got to the 20.
I don't know though, because their safeties. I don't know what was going on with their safeties last night. What's his face was awful.
Yeah. He did not have a great game,
No.
and I think there was a period of time, and we both said it in the text line. They're not throwing the ball downfield. Take some shots downfield. It seemed like everything was to the side. Everything was to the side. And it was like once they said, okay, we can throw the ball downfield, you get 2 instant touchdowns.
Well, did you notice somebody hit Lamar? In the series before that first touchdown, something happened where somebody hit Lamar, said something to him, and you heard Collinsworth say, "Oh, Lamar is getting in a little scuff." He got up and got real big, and then he went to the side. And after they scored, Lamar just shook his head like, "All right," and that was it. That was it at that point. That was it.
But hey, you're right. And I wrote this in my Facebook post. The coach did what we thought needed to be done to win the game. I mean, they fed the ball to Henry. He had over 100 yards. They took their opportunities with play action. Lamar throws 3 touchdowns. Zay has 2 of them. They come out well defensively in the first half. I mean, everything you think we would need to do to win, they did it. He did not really make a terrible decision in that. But I will say this, and I know we're going to talk about Luke in a little bit in a minute, or we can talk about him a little bit further in that kick. I think the kick that really hurt them was the kickoff penalty. Now they come down, they score the second touchdown. They score on the ball to Zay across the middle. He goes in and score, puts them up 24-20. And it's like momentum's has swung. I think it's a little bit of outside of, it might be like 2:30 left or something like that. Okay, you come back. He kicks that off. He kicks it out of bounds. It gives the Steelers a short field, gives them the ball on the 40. What do? They go right down the score. That's the deciding points in the game.
He is well.
He struggled with this all season. As a matter of fact, he led the NFL in 8 kickoff penalties this season, the most by any kicker.
And you said we'll talk about it later. So I got some other things to say about Luke. The thing, one of the things in the offense that it almost felt like the Ravens were destined to win. That last drive felt like a redemption drive.
Sure.
We talked the last couple touchdowns. We talked bad about Lamar all season. You know, he's hurt. He ain't doing this. And what does he do? Show up as Superman to bring us from the jaws of defeat. We talk about Zay, the last few weeks and how he's messed us up in the last few playoffs. And what does he do? 2 touchdowns running straight. Redemption. We gave Likely hell for showing off and not making the plays. What does Likely do? Snatch down a ball that's thrown between 2 defenders that he's covered up. I mean, that was an amazing catch. Like, I think they kind of dismissed it, like on the broadcast, like, oh, good pass by Lamar and really good catch by Zay. No, that was an amazing catch, especially on 4th down. That would have ended your season. You get your redemption stories coming, and what happens? We'll talk about Tyler Luke later, man.
Yeah. So to me, that was probably the most critical play. Now, some people might point to the final drive. I think Stanley was lined up offside or something. He wasn't in the proper position, and because I think Mark Andrews, they caught it. They had a first down, they drive and whatever, and then they had to go to the 4th down, and that's when Likely made a great catch. But we saw Vinicius Lamar in that second touchdown pass. He evades the rush. He directs Zay downfield, and he throws a dime right into his hands, over his shoulder, past Patrick Queen. Beautiful pass. And, I was saying to a lot of people, this is why we play Lamar. This is why you don't play Snoop Hundley in this game.
Snoop doesn't make that play.
Snoop does not make that play. Snoop can't make that play. I'm sorry. Yes, he can run, but he cannot make that play.
If you notice, if you remember the first 2 passes to Zay, the first one, Zay kind of at the last minute moved his hand up and missed it. The second one, did you see his head do like that? And I literally said, that's because you've been catching balls from Snoop Huntley this last week. Lamar got a totally different cannon on there. Zay, we need you to catch up to that. Snoop, and if you've watched Snoop, we all know that he doesn't have the zip on his ball like Lamar does. A lot of those passes would not have made it. They could have been knocked down. We've seen it. But yeah, to all these people that were, the score was 13-10, and y'all was still on social media talking about put in Snoop because Lamar ain't doing nothing. The score is 13-10 in a game we've been winning most of the game, and you're telling me you want Snoop Huntley to come in? Like, I just, if Lamar,
what have you done for me lately, society? Now,
if Lamar decides to leave Baltimore for whatever reason, I'm not going to blame that reason. I'm blaming you fans. I'm blaming you sometimey ass fans that literally this man has a motherfucking injured riddle season and comes back to play. Not the injured riddle seasons he's had before where he's just sat out the complete year. He's come back to try to play, and y'all are still, we're better without Lamar. Trade Lamar for 2 first-round draft picks? Are you fucking kidding me?
Calvin. Now let's talk a little bit about the field goal attempt. Now, do you think the Ravens should have taken at least one more shot at the end zone or try to get closer for the field goal attempt?
Another. What Raven fans are watching this game? Because if you're a Ravens fan, you have to realize that nothing good has happened for the Ravens at the end of games when they try to do a little too much.
If they gave that ball to Derrick Henry and he fumbled, Lamar threw an interception,
or Ronnie Stanley,
jump off
sides, and it makes it even longer, you motherfuckers would be losing your minds.
Right.
There is no way run another play. That was the absolute correct call. You line that ball up, which in hindsight now, you could have kept it on that left hash mark.
I think they should have kept it. Now, if it was one thing, I think in hindsight they're going right. You probably should have kept it on that hash.
Kept it on that hash mark. But that's what you do. You line the ball up, and I don't understand this. Oh, well, he's young. He's a rookie. It's the pressure. First of all, he's perfect inside of 50 yards. So that's the call you make. If you in analytics, that's the call you make. Secondly, he was a rookie when he missed the kick in Buffalo. I know technically he's still a rookie, but this is game 17, week 18 of the NFL that you are an employee of. He has to hit that kick. It's a pressure situation. It may have been
every game's a pressure situation.
Every game's a pressure situation. And if it was that much pressure, then he shouldn't even be on the team. Like, I'm so sick of the coddling. What the fuck are y'all doing? So they literally wanted us to try to run another play and let Derrick Henry fumble the ball like he did in a critical situation in Buffalo, in a critical situation in Detroit. I don't. And again, if you've ever watched the Ravens in Pittsburgh, nothing good happens.
Let's not forget the Patriots.
Nothing good happens late with us.
Against the Patriots.
There would have been an interception. There would have been something that happened that you motherfuckers would have been like, oh, well, we should have just kicked it.
It was the high percentage play.
It was the high percentage play. And it was the best play. It was the best play.
It was the best play. You sneak and it's a scrum and somebody reaches in there and punches that ball out because they're all 11 men are going to be punching at that ball. And that ball comes out, this city would have burned down.
Exactly. The only way I would have said maybe you try for the touchdown is if what's his name did not miss. If Boswell didn't miss the extra point and the field goal kick would have only tied the game.
Right. Then you go ahead and you take a shot.
Then you take a shot.
You go ahead and take a shot. Or if they had 30 seconds or 40 seconds, you go ahead and take a shot. Okay, you take a shot. It don't work. Throw it out of bounds. Okay. But yeah, no, you had it right. They had no timeouts. They were at your will. You put it in the middle of the field.
And if you want to even say, well, let Lamar keep the ball and run. What does the offensive line have? What have the offensive line been doing on the runs now? Letting them crash through. We would have lost yards on that. You don't want to take the chance to go back further or a turnover. It just makes no sense to think of it that way. Like, I just...
Yeah, all season we've been having our issues with Tyler Loop. Calvin is not a Tyler Loop fan.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. Calvin hates when people go Loop when he kicks these
he
extra
has
points.
not earned it. He hasn't earned it.
Loop.
Calvin
hates when
because you know what?
Loop.
He hasn't earned it. And you know what he did last night? Loop. There it is. There it is. Y'all been wanting to say that all season. Luke, there it is. Luke, there it is. He missed the game winner that ends the season.
Yeah. I'm not going to play the Justin Tucker game. Like, they shouldn't have let go Tuck and all that. Now, I will say this. Tucker would have made that with his eyes closed.
Justin Tucker makes that kick.
Justin Tucker makes that kick. I don't care how bad he was last season. Justin Tucker makes that kick.
He makes that kick. I can't. My only problem with everyone talking about, well, we should have had Tuck, is that you should not have had Tuck. Justin Tucker did this to himself, and he did this to the team. And we can make all the jokes and memes we want, but you know what's not funny? If it was your daughter, your mother, your wife, your whomever that was the victim of this, it's not.
It would have been a PR nightmare, especially the season that they've had. If they would have saved that spot 11 games for Tucker to come back and to kick to try to help them to get into the playoffs. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
You talk about exposés and all this other stuff. It would have been media nightmare around here for that.
The Baltimore Ravens don't give a damn about women.
Right.
It's just you
as an organization,
did this to himself.
They can do it.
He did it to himself.
Yeah. So man, where do we go from here, bro? Where do we go from here? And what are your overall thoughts about the season, and how drastic do you think the changes need to be made this offseason? And so just your thoughts, and how drastic do the changes need to be this offseason?
Yeah, so the season was a failure, obviously, because we didn't make the playoffs. Now, the one thing that I was holding on to all season long is how we've always said in the past 2 seasons, oh, well, they can play well in the regular season. I don't give a damn about the regular season. They can go 9-8 in the regular season as long as they make the playoffs and make a run. I was holding on to that thought that, you know what? That might actually happen, because Lamar was about to take off. And I truly believe, I think we would have beat Houston, but that's another story for another day. But otherwise, it was a failure because you just did not make the playoffs. I think there was what did Giannis say that time they were giving him hell about? Where he was like, well, you think it's a failure because we didn't win it all? Yes, it's a failure because you didn't win it all. Yes.
Giannis is like, I mean, we won. You didn't win it all, Giannis.
You didn't win it all, sir. The goal is to win it all. And the Ravens' goal after starting 1-5 was just to make the playoffs. So it was a failure. How drastic do changes need to be made? And this is where the Ravens get you every season. When they lose, especially like this, it is never because of John Harbaugh. So you're always kind of like, yeah, maybe he can hang around another season. We got to cut out of that, because Harbaugh did not mess up yesterday. He did not mess up yesterday.
What has been my statement in the chat line? How many more seasons does John Harbaugh need? 18.
Exactly. You're right.
One Super Bowl, but a whole rash of losses.
You're right.
How many more seasons do we need? I agree with you. I mean, overall, and I said it, and I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks, what we see is what we get with this team. And our eyes were not deceiving us. This was not a great team the way that it was constructed. Yes, they had a lot of injuries to start the season off, and that really hurt them at some points. But the way that this team was constructed on the defensive side of the ball with the line, I think also on the offensive side with the line as well, it just did not translate out the way that they thought it was. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I think overall the season was a disappointment because you were a favorite coming in and you struggled. Yeah, you had a good run against bad teams for that 5-game win streak that kind of got you back into the mix. But against good teams, you struggle. Against a team with one receiver in Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh swept us this year. And they won the second game with no receivers. They swept us. And they won the second game with no receivers, and they won the first game with only one receiver.
It's just
That's tough. That's tough.
so
And so,
disappointing.
yeah. So I don't think they need to tear it down to the studs. I don't think they need to break it down and destroy the whole house. I think they have some pieces there, foundation that they can build on, but I think they need to do some radical change at the top.
Yeah.
I think they need to do some radical change at the top. I think some coaching changes need to happen. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I think certainly, drafting and evaluation of players, may it be through draft. I think maybe they need to think about free agency a little bit differently.
They need to look at free agency a little differently.
Particularly with rush ends. I don't know a whole lot of stud rush ends that are coming right out of college. Maybe Micah Parsons and Lawrence Taylor. That's about it. And so, you may need to think about that, how you approach that. Definitely offensive line. So yeah, there's some, definitely some gaps there that need to be addressed. But do they need to totally break down the team? I don't think they need to totally break down the
Well,
team. I mean, they
but
got back in it. I think there's definitely some coaching and philosophy and some vision changes that need to happen at the top. And I think that translates to how you use your players.
and I think if you start with I'm gonna give a shout out to Zach Orr because through everything, Zach Orr got the defense together last season, and they finished the season well. They didn't finish the season as well this season, but Zach Orr stuck in there. You know what I mean? They put up a fight, but once you lose Kyle Hamilton and your defense is lost, then it's kind of like, what were you preparing them for? Like, you got to be ready for something like that. But
I'm gonna take
we
the
need
opposite
a
with you
legit
on that one, Cal.
we need a legit defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'll say this, and I think we talked about it early in the season. This was the second consecutive season that this defense started off rough, where basically it put the team in a hole. Last season they were able to get out that hole, and they went on a great run offensively, and it covered up a multitude of sins. I mean, they did not turn into the steel curtain, but they were able to address the pass game in terms of pass defense, and they were able to at least get a little stable. I don't think they ever got stable this year. I know that they got a Louis Gilman, and that allowed them to go ahead and put Hamilton back into the box, but they still could not stop good passing teams. I think they still struggle with the run in some certain aspects. And I never really felt like the year before. I thought, okay, yeah, it's a little bit more marketed improvement. This year, I don't really think it moved the needle. And so I don't think they're going to get rid of EDC, but you feel EDC's job is safe?
I, I I feel it's safe, but I don't think it should be. Um, because just like you said, the whole philosophy from the top down. I mean, we haven't drafted any good ends. I mean, we've had guys like Oweh, Jabo, older retreads. Thank you, Kyle Van Noy. But this year it just didn't work. I mean, they could have gone out and gotten Jadeveon Clowney. You were calling for them to get Jadeveon Clowney when
I
I was just
was.
like, no, but he was down in Dallas killing. Like we needed something. Um, we finally struck on a wide receiver with Zay a few years ago, but still, even to help Zay, we don't have any wide receivers. Now, I'm going to tell you, when it happened, I think we were all kind of like, yeah, okay, he deserves it. But as the season went on and unfolded, signing Mark Andrews may not have been the best idea because likely it's going to walk. And Mark Andrews has not done much since he's been re signed. I don't know if that's scheme, I don't know what it is, but as far as a reliable receiver, he just hasn't been there. 1, 2 catches every game when you're talking about a guy that actually moved the needle for us.
Right.
So this is all EDC's doing. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they'll move on from him, but I wouldn't be mad if they did. I just wouldn't be mad if they did.
Now, when asked after the game whether he wanted Harbaugh to return as coach, Lamar Jackson could not say. You asking me about next year, he said, and I'm so caught up in what just happened tonight, I can't focus on that right now. Like, he asked me, "Are you stunned?" I'm stunned right now, and I'm still trying to process what's going on. And so, people are running with this. He did not come out and give a ringing endorsement for Harbaugh. And I don't really took it that way, because to me, I'm the same way. You asking me about 2026? I'm right here in this moment right now. I'm not thinking. To me, I took it as I'm not thinking about 2026. Right now, I'm stuck in 2025, where I'm thinking I should be preparing for the playoffs next week, and I'm about to go home. I'm not thinking about next year. And so I don't know if he's supposed to go, well, I stand by Hub. No, I'm not thinking of. And I love Lamar because he gives the honest answer. He does not give the, he's PR coach and everything like that. To me, I don't take that as a diss of Harbaugh. But do you think they retain Harbaugh next season?
Well, let me first say, and that was Jameson Henley, the ESPN. Yeah, is it Henley or is it
Hemsley?
Hemsley.
Mm-hmm.
He's the ESPN Ravens ESPN reporter. But what a shitty thing to ask Lamar Jackson trying to get some sort of soundbite at that moment. I understand you're a reporter, you got to get it, but there are times where your questions are shitty. And Lamar basically let him know, if we don't see Lamar get at you often, but if you saw Lamar when he answered that question, Lamar was like, Jameson, like he called his name out as if to say, motherfucker, what a shitty thing to ask this man after his team lost in a devastating way in a game that they should have had. Like, just come on. Now, do I think they're going to keep Harbaugh? I'm not falling into the trap again. They should not keep John. But we know the Ravens and their consistency and how they just seem to love this guy. I really don't think it's enough for him to go. I don't think they're going to fire him.
Wow, it's crazy, and I'm feeling the same way. I'll say this. Let's put in a prediction. If they don't make a decision on him after the wild card games, then he's going to be here next year. I'm thinking right now, maybe they're doing some evaluation. They're doing some thought. They're thinking about who's out there. We're going to talk about the openings that just happened today.
They got to talk to Lamar also. They got to talk to Lamar.
You got to talk to Lamar as well. And so, to me, if we don't hear anything by the end of the wild card going into next week, then I think the chances are, the deeper we go into the playoffs, more than likely it's not going to happen, because you've already started evaluating, you're building staff because you got these openings, so you're trying to keep people on your staff or whatever you're going to be doing for your next staff. And so I think probably in about the next 14 days, it's going to be an indication of what's going to happen with him.
I wouldn't judge it on the timing from the playoffs. I would judge it more on Zach Orr. Zach Orr definitely has to be gone.
Explain that. Why would you put it on Zach Orr? And the reason why I'm saying the timing is normally teams don't make big announcements in the middle of the playoffs. They try to dissuade you from making the big announcements because they want the league wants to focus on the playoffs.
And that's why they have Black Monday. And I'm thinking that if they remove Zach Orr, they're going to remove them as a package deal. I don't know. I could be wrong. But if they just move Zach Orr by himself, I'm thinking that Harbaugh's job is safe. Like I don't recall ever seeing a coordinator get removed and the head coach later gets removed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that. Now, if Zach Orr stays,
I agree.
We might all burn the city down. But I'm judging it on Zach Orr's tenure, which I really thought Zach Orr would be shut down today. I thought it would be announced today.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make the announcement that fast for it. I think if somebody's going to go first, they're going to make the Harbaugh announcement first.
Exactly.
I don't think they're going to make
Harbaugh would be first. That's exactly my point. Harbaugh would be first.
I think that so I think I agree. I think Harbaugh, it's time for the transition. You have 18 seasons. Yes, you won 6 AFC North crowns. You have a 62% winning percentage. You've only had 3 seasons under
I know you
500.
I know you hate it, Garland. Hall of Fame
But
coach.
he's only had 3 playoff wins in over the past 8 seasons, and that's the Lamar. Yes, I'll say it. He is a Hall of Fame coach,
Hall of
and
Fame
that's more
coach.
so because of longevity, not necessarily because his teams have been overly successful. I say it all the time, Calvin. I don't know one person outside of maybe John Madden who's made more of one Super Bowl win than John Harbaugh. It's like that time you beat up the bully in elementary, and people now you're in high school, and people talk about, yeah, yo, remember when yo can fight because he beat up that boy back up in second grade.
Well,
No.
the only reason I push back on that slightly is because John Harbaugh has been the beneficiary of some legendary defensive players that have gotten the team over the hump in the playoffs. A Joe Flacco, who, for whatever anybody wants to say about him, his first 4 or 5 seasons, playoffs and playoff wins, like they weren't one and done.
Calvin,
Then you fall into a Lamar Jackson. I mean,
he
and
has
John Harbaugh was
the
the
most
coach of all that.
transitional player right now, and he has done nothing with him in these 8
I
years.
get it, but they
And
don't
we can't
always
keep on.
look
We
at.
keep on resting on the past of Ray Lewis and all them. The game was different. Then yeah, he inherited a
But
great
but
team,
we're
and he
talking
brought some
about
structure
his
to it.
we're talking about his tenure, and what was all accredited to him as the head coach. We all truly believe that that team that won the Super Bowl wasn't even really his team. It was the defense that did it all, but
Sure, it was.
he was the head coach of that. He had Suggs, he had Ray Lewis, he had Ed Reed, he had Haloti Nada. All these guys were halfway under his watch. I mean, you can't take that from him.
I'm
Can't
going
take it
to
from him.
remind you what Ed Reed said. We won that Super Bowl despite of John Harbaugh.
He did say that, but you know what Ed Reed gonna be doing in about the next 10, 15 years? Standing right on that podium with his yellow jacket with John Harbaugh.
That's fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying is they won that despite John Harbaugh.
I agree.
They had a mutiny that season, Calvin.
I
The
agree.
players had a mutiny. They quit.
Yes.
So to me, you ain't saying nothing about John Harbaugh. They won in spite of John Harbaugh being there.
But John Harbaugh,
Let me read the statistic
gets
again.
the credit. He gets the
John
credit.
Harbaugh coach teams are 49-56 in games not started by Lamar Jackson. They are 75-27 in games Lamar Jackson starts and finishes.
What's that overall?
Don't
worry about the numbers. The bottom line is they're wins that are counted to John Harbaugh.
Yeah. Unfortunate. All right, so we already know if Harbaugh goes, but all right, he stays. What coordinator goes? I mean, I think it's definitely. I agree. It's definitely Zach.
Zach has to go. He has
Zach
to go.
has to. Yeah, they need they need someone who can really call a defense. I saw something. I think it was Torrey Smith. He had a tweet. He says, "Show me a team where your best defensive players can't win their one-on-ones, and I'll show you a guy who can't coach, who can't coordinate defense." Basically talking about that. And I don't know how much more time he needs in this era that I understand it was a great ascension. I love to see the brothers get up there. And him being a former player who basically, he was on his way to being at least a several-time All-Pro before his neck injury. Played very well. It was a great transition in between the Ray Lewis years. But yeah, I think he's a little overmatched in terms of coordinating that.
How they say, cool story, bro, but you gotta go.
Right.
It's one of them things where shout out to the Ravens for trying to stay in house and for giving him a shot. But as we can see now, it was at the detriment of some Lamar Jackson prime years that we, along with Harbaugh, probably could have had. We ran Greg Roman out of town for the same thing. Like, we just feel like you're not quite there with what we need. And Zach just never was there. And listen, the man tried. He should definitely get another shot as a coach somewhere and maybe be a central coordinator again. He can always say he's got the experience. He got playoff.
He's a great linebackers coach. He's got playoff experience. I mean, he's a good guy. I just think And I don't want to say also it's probably just also a combination that they just have not given him the personnel. I don't know if he had the
That too.
personnel. Would we see something different? I mean, McDonald didn't really. It wasn't like they had um, great ends out there. I mean, they had Clowney and they had Van Noy, but he did a lot with Clowney and Van Noy. He turned what's the guy? He was the safety that did all the blitz, and he turned him into almost an all pro. Ain't heard from him again. So he's the way that he schemed. He turned some of these players into very good players, and after he left, I mean, it's like you never heard from these players again.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Hey man,
Sorry, Zach.
it's clean out your office Monday, and so several head coaches were relieved of their jobs today, relieved of their duties. The Falcons, Raheem Morris and GM Terry Fontenot, they were relieved of their duties. Raheem was hired in 2024, but the Falcons did not post a winning record once in Fontenot's 5-year tenure and was 16 and 18 under Morris in his 2 seasons. The Cardinals, they released Jonathan Gannon. Gannon went 15 and 36 in his 3 seasons as the team's head coach. He never reached the playoffs, while also never finishing higher than 3rd in the NFC West. The Raiders, they fired Pete Carroll, the 74-year-old coach, went 3 and 14 in his only season there. Before the game on Sunday against the Chiefs, which they won, Las Vegas had lost 10 straight and had already wrapped up the number 1 selection in the 2026 draft. And the Browns, they released Kevin Stefanski. Despite winning 2 Coach of the Year awards, the Browns finished the 2025 season with a 5-12 record en route to their 2nd straight last place finish in the AFC North and their 4th losing season under Stefanski. And also, you had 2 other organizations that fired their coaches earlier in the season, the Giants and the Titans. And so, which of these is the best job? Falcons, Cardinals, Raiders, Browns, Giants, Titans.
So you have to have an established quarterback. So that's going to knock the Raiders out, even though they're coming with the number 1 pick. It'll more than likely knock the Cardinals out because I don't think Little Man is coming back. So that leaves us with the Falcons with an injured Penix, with the Browns with Shador, and with Titans and Cam. I would out of those, I would probably think well, the Titans division is pretty strong. I would say Titans. I might lean towards Browns. You got a strong defense, you got a young quarterback who's not established but may have some potential. But if you look at the division, if you're basing it on this season and even last season, the AFC North is kind of soft right now. Kind of soft.
Yeah. I would say, I'm sorry. I would say probably, I think the Cardinals' job, because you got Low Man there, but you still need to figure
But
out
he's
what you're going to
leaving.
do.
He's not.
He's
I
not
don't think.
leaving. I think he just signed a big contract there. Remember,
Yeah, I don't
this
think
is
they're.
around the whole Lamar time, and I mean
Yeah, but
they're not going to let him go for all that money.
I don't know, sir. The word is that he is out of. He is.
Where
If
is he going?
I have no idea, but they don't want him back. That's why they shut him down. He wasn't hurt that long.
The coach who they just fired didn't want him back.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, they hired a new coach.
If he's on the team, then the Cardinals is you got Trey McBride, you got Marvin Harrison Jr., you got
And
this new.
they're
Yeah.
paying Little Man a lot of money. They
Yeah.
signed him to that big deal that was all in the Russ Wilson, Lamar, everybody trying to get the guaranteed money. So they signed him for big
Okay.
money. It's the coach that didn't want him back. That's why the coach said, let's go ahead and just put him on IR for the rest of the season. And so a new coach come in, I'm sure they're going to take a look at him and say, hey, I think we can do something with him. I think the Falcons' job is pretty good because you did draft Penix.
Yeah.
Arthur Blank, he's not scared to spend some money. I think that's a decent team. I mean, it's crazy. They finished first in the division, but they did not make the playoffs.
They're soft. They're soft division. Also, only reason I didn't pick them is because Penix is what 2 seasons hurt. 2 seasons.
Well, no, this is his rookie year.
Nah, he was hurt last year. This is his second season.
No, last year they had the other quarterback. They didn't have Rattler. They had the quarterback from Cincinnati. They drafted Penix this season.
No,
Penix
Michael
was a
Penix is
rookie.
not a rookie. He's not a
Let's
rookie.
look it up.
Yeah, let me look it up. This is his second season. He was hurt last year.
Let's see. Michael Penix Jr. Okay, we're gonna see.
Yeah, he was drafted in 24.
He was drafted in 24.
Yeah,
and it's just okay. So
yeah, he was
he
drafted.
sat all last season because they had what's his face.
He was.
I'm sorry.
I thought this was his second season. So
yeah. Okay, that's right. Because I thought they just went ahead and paid. They played Cousins because they had signed Cousins to that big deal. Okay, so all right. So all right. I apologize. I stand corrected, sir.
No worries.
So, yeah.
I ain't got no dog in that fight in Atlanta anyway. So no worries.
I think that so I think the Falcons' job is pretty good.
Yeah,
and I think that's a good choice. And it's funny. I think the Browns' job is the worst job.
Really?
And I say the Browns' job, yes, because as long as Shador is there, it's always going to be a nightmare.
You and the Sanders family, boy.
It's funny.
What you gonna do my cousin? What you gonna do when her name is Karuchi Sanders?
I ain't gonna do nothing. I don't care. I don't care about no Karuchi. I talked to my cousins last night, called me, wish me birthday. Happy birthday. We're 4 days apart, so his birthday's on the 8th, coming up in a couple of days. So, typically we give each other a call. So his wife says, why do you call Deion Sanders subprime? And I bust out and start laughing. And I had to explain to her why he's subprime Sanders.
You are so disrespectful to this Sanders family.
But I think that's the worst job because it's always going to be, if you don't play Shador, you're going to have a lot of problems on your hands. I
think that's worse than the Raiders job?
Yes. At least with the Raiders, you got Brady there. You don't have too much.
They don't have a
pressure.
Max Crosby wants to get out.
They
have
fine.
Ashton Genty. That's
Cleveland,
and they have Brock Bowers.
You have a lightning rod. You have a lightning rod in Shador. If you don't play Shador,
you have
people
a
going to kill
great
you.
defense.
If
you have a good to great
Shador,
defense.
People going to kill you. That's the worst job.
You have an up and coming rising tight end in Fannin. You got a Keyshawn Judkins, the running back. I mean, you have the tools in place, man.
That's the worst
job. You still
job.
got a young Myles Garrett. You got the tools in place.
Who's going to be coordinate that defense? Because more than likely, unless they hire my man Schwartz, he's probably gone with that regime. So new coach going to bring in his own people.
I'm just saying,
I don't know
man.
if that's I don't want to coach Shador. His daddy there. Oh no,
that's the problem. You don't want to coach Shador. Would you coach Dylan Gabriel, bum ass?
That would be less stress.
That would be. He's the worst.
That would be less stress.
Throw the ball downfield.
I don't care. It wouldn't be no stress on me. They're gonna draft a quarterback anyway. They're high up in there, so they're gonna draft a quarterback if they can anyway. And so, no, no, thank you.
That's hilarious.
I am not coaching Shador. I'm not coaching Shador. Also, I think probably the Giants' job is probably good. I think the Giants. I mean, they got a quarterback. He's played well for them.
They got a
running back. Cam Scatterboot. He'll be back next season.
They got Malik Neighbors. They got a number one wide receiver.
Abdul Carter.
I was about to say they got some pass rushers there. Yeah, Giants' job isn't bad.
Yeah, Giants' job is not bad.
But wait, didn't they? Who did? Oh, that's right, because the coach now is the intern coach. That's right. They fired Dave Ball in the middle of the season. That's right.
Yeah, they need to hire a head coach. So
I would go to the Giants. So if I had my choices, Giants would be Giants would be my choice.
Giants would probably be number one. Falcons number two. maybe Cardinals 3 for me. All right, man. Everybody, this is the point of the show that Calvin really don't want to deal with.
This is some bullshit.
It's okay.
Look,
No,
first of all,
it's all right, bro. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
I thought we talked about this yesterday.
We did briefly talk about it.
I still got the voicemail. I will call the police and have you arrested for harassment.
It was not harassment. I crashed out. I crashed out last night. I'm sorry. I crashed out. I had a moment. But yeah, we gotta talk about it.
We do not.
You know, we might as well just go ahead and pull her out. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw her over my shoulder. Yeah, you know, it's been a minute since people have seen this. You know, so I might as well just go ahead and throw it over the shoulder. You know, let them know that the champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. Y'all looking at the 2025 Pigskin Pick'em champ. Champ, you got a couple words you want to say? I do want to say, you know, it feels good to be on top. It feels good to win, to be a winner. You know, to beat a guy like this, you know, it's not easy because unbeknownst to man, you know, he studies players, he knows these little tendencies and stuff. And so, you know, I really had to be up on my game this year. And so, you know, they wrote me off, but I ain't right back. So I just want to say, you know, to all the people out there, thank you for your love and support of me. I'm a, you know, be the champion. I'm the people's champion. I'm gonna be the champion that y'all want me to be. Okay, I'm for the people. I'm the people's champion. All right. Now I will give credit to my opponent. He did put up a valiant fight this week. He had 4 picks. I mean, he went in hard, y'all, for a minute. Like Saturday's games, he called both games Saturday, and I got a little nervous. I was like, I need to check to see what my picks are because he just might come back and I'm not going to get on this podcast if I lose this. And so Sunday, I pulled out the computer. I don't even open the computers on Sundays. I was like, let me go and check the pick'ems because I have a feeling he might have won more than just these 2. Sure enough, I won 4. He won 4. And so, you know, it was, you know, I guess kind of split. And so I end up with 39-31 as the final count. And so, you know, peace to my opponent. He was a worthy opponent. I want to just thank my mom for giving me the sports books when I was little. I used to read sports anthologies and I had sports trivia books. I always loved sports. So I like to thank my mom for planting in me the love of football and sports. And I'm here for y'all. I'm y'all champ, the people's champ.
The problem was I picked the fucking Ravens every week. Had I not picked them bum ass
guess what,
niggas.
y'all? He picked the Steelers on Sunday and the Steelers won.
I did. Had I not picked them bum ass niggas at the beginning of the season, I might have won this thing. Oh, sorry ass Ravens.
So,
but when I want to lose that pick, they turn around and let the Steelers win. Oh, bums. Hallelujah, fuck you. Bum.
Hey, y'all. Thank you. Thank you, ESPN, everybody. Let's go ahead, man. Let's go ahead and come on your part of the show that everybody loves. I'll go ahead and start off. It's not long. I got a quick one. That's the champ. The champ gets to go first. The champ gets to go first.
You just gonna bleed this out.
Yeah, I am. Just gonna let you know. I am gonna bleed this. I want to say to the people out here, you fair weather Ravens fans, come on, yo. Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. Really should be 3-time MVP. Should have won last year. They only gave it to Josh Allen because of voter.
DEI.
Yeah, it's a DEI. Before Trump got to dismantle it, they gave Josh Allen an award because they were tired of giving it to Lamar. And for all you people who were screaming, take Lamar out and put Huntley in, even when the Ravens had a lead. I don't even want to read the actual text from one of my chat lines. People were legitimately on social media and just in private conversations screaming for Lamar, for Snoop Huntley to come into the game because Lamar is moving slow. Lamar is not 100%. 10% of Lamar Jackson is better than 100% of Snoop Huntley. 90%, let's say Lamar was at 90% last night. I don't know if he was at 100 or not. He had on a flak jacket and everything. But I'll take that percentage of Lamar Jackson. Nothing against Snoop. I love Snoop. And Snoop is a good insertion when you need someone to come in to kind of keep the train moving. And yes, he was able to help the team stay in the hunt. And that's great. But you're not going to win championships with Snoop Huntley. You're not going to win big games. A game that really we should have won yesterday. Only a two-time MVP could make the plays that were made yesterday in the fourth quarter. Snoop Huntley's not throwing that touchdown pass to Zay Flowers over his shoulder 50 yards down the field. It's not happening. The last touchdown, it's not happening. So I don't listen to you fair weather fans anymore because y'all dumb. I hate to say, I won't say they dumb. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. They're not dumb. I'm sorry. I'm crashing out. I'm still crashing out, y'all.
You just call the people's dumb.
No, I called the people dumb. I apologize. Y'all not dumb. Y'all stuck in the past. How about that? I think that's a little bit better. They're stuck in the past because they want old Lamar. They want the Lamar that was running around and juking people. And we talked about this earlier in the show. That Lamar, he hasn't played in the last 2 seasons. Not a lot. He still does have the ability sometimes, but he's matured as a player. And if that guy is running around like that, that guy's not going to last long in this league, too much longer. We want to get as much of Lamar's career as we can get in Baltimore. And to think that you would want to trade him or you would want to take him out for a career journeyman in the most important game of the season shows me that maybe you're more of a fan than a person who understands and appreciates. So come on, you. I don't want to call y'all fans. Yeah, y'all fanatics, Raven fanatics, with the taking out Lamar when we're still in the game. I'm done.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be your Luther and translate for you. I'm gonna be your Luther, like since you're the champ and you have to take the high road, let me be your Luther, like they do in Key and Peele. You stupid motherfuckers! Why the fuck would you think that Tyler Huntley and his brand new ass teeth? Oh, that's what it is. This nigga teeth blinding you motherfuckers to make you think that he's better than a 2-time MVP. The game is not even out of reach, but you want to bring in Smiley Huntley. Imagine that shit. Smiley Huntley to come in. But as soon as Lamar start throwing these touchdowns and playing well, here y'all go Lamar, fuck that. Get back on the Huntley train. Get back on the motherfucking Huntley train. Is that what you meant, Garland?
Thank you, Luther.
Hey man, let me do my come on, yo, and it's a little more serious. We talked about Tyler Loop, and how disappointed we are. We've all crashed out on it. We've all crashed out on how he's got to make this kick, and there's no sympathy, there's no crying in football, no coddling and all that, this and that. But none of that shit means that anyone out here should be threatening any type of player or their family because of a motherfucking football game. Now, only miserable people do things like that. And I'm venturing out here to say how many of you would actually say that to his face. My buddy posted on a post that I wrote, it's like, imagine going to Tyler Loop and saying it to his face that he kicked the shit out you. I bet he won't miss that wide right. I mean, just come on, yo, come on, people. You know, and another thing with this whole thing, it was a pressure situation, and it's a lot. I hope that he mentally recovers from this because there's a lot going on. Like, he literally let an entire city down. He let his team down. His team is there to pick him up, but a lot of people may not be able to recover from this. That, coupled along with you all threatening him and his family, you know, that this is, he may not ever be the same. If he decides that, you know, I may want to continue to play in the NFL, but I don't want to play for the Baltimore Ravens, I would understand that. You know, we can all sit here and be like, oh, we want him cut anyway. We want him this. We're all going to be in our feelings and we're going to be in emotions until training camp. Because once he gets in training camp, if he gets the job, he starts making some, we're going to be like, good. We'll never forget it, but hopefully it won't hang over his head. I hope he can recover from it. You would think he could because he's a football player, but he's young. You just never know. And threats don't make it easy. So come on, yo. Like, keep your fandom where the fandom belongs, which is out of their personal lives. Because again, you wouldn't say it to their face. I love the days where they show these NBA players snatching up these fans in these stands that think they can just talk crazy to them, because you can't. Everybody's not going to take that. Everybody's not joking with your ass. You never know where some people's mentality is. You say the wrong thing to them and they come snatch your ass up, malice in the palace, and then they may get fined, but your ass been beat for the whole world to see, and they still going to be rich and live their day. So come on, yo. Take it easy out there. Like, you know, you wouldn't want to go to a little league game and hear your child getting berated, or go to a high school game and hear your son, who might be a star, may not be, getting berated. You wouldn't want to hear that. So what makes you think you can do it to them? And threatening is just way too far. I think anybody that's threatened should be arrested for something like that, should be charged with some sort of misdemeanor, because it's ridiculous. So come on, yo. Take it easy. Yeah, just take it easy. So,
hey man, another one in the can.
Another one, man, a good one. You still ain't got to keep that belt on. That's some bullshit. But you know, I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh, this belt is bothering you.
I'm gonna go ahead to the victor goes the spoils. You know, but you just like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what I mean? Just like to show off and shit. But you know, next go round you gonna lose. Next round you gonna lose. So we ain't. You know what? Let me just play this outro because I'm sick of this shit already. You gonna raise it over your motherfucking head? Oh, I'm sick of this shit right here. We getting out of this motherfucker. You gonna wear it like it's a motherfucking crown and shit. All
you have been listening to the B.I.G. show.
Face.
This show was produced and written by
Jay said the pod is better when we have a
Thomas
little disagreement. Oh, we got beef right now.
Follow us on all of your podcast media platforms.
Looking like the Pope and shit.
That's like the man who was putting the holy water out in Pittsburgh last night.
Hey man, you may be missing, but we're live on YouTube right now. We will be on the podcast platforms when I drop it. And if you want to see my beautiful face and garlands, whatever they call the Pope that he wears on his head, just make sure you have Spotify. You'll get to check us out. Later, Garland.
TBC champ has spoken.
We out of here.